this is MK Dons, and their last couple of years haven't been the best. First of all, last season they got relegated to League 2, and after making the League 2 playoffs this season, Crawley Town put a stop to their chances of bouncing back up to League 1 as they beat them in the playoff semi-finals. Guys, I think it's about time we sorted them out. So today I'm taking charge of MK Dons with one goal in mind: win them the Champions League to crown them the world's best club. But making that happen, guys, isn't going to be easy because this is the team we've loaded into in Season 1, and it's safe to say we've got a lot of work to do. I mean, their best player right now isn't even their own player, it's Louis Bates, who's currently on loan to them. And they've also got a 39-year-old centre-back called Dean Lewington playing for them. I'm assuming that this guy is a bit of a fan favourite, but he's going to do absolutely nothing for us. And just look at how many players we've got on loan to us right now, man. All of these players we've got to send back to their parent club because we are treating this like the new season. And because we've done that, this now leaves us with only $3 million to spend in Season 1 with MK Dons. But I've just been going through the players, guys, and I've just noticed that majority of the squad are actually English. So with that being said, I'm introducing a rule to this. We are only allowed to spend our budget on English players, making this an English-only rebuild. And yes, that means I've put every single player on the transfer list who isn't from England so that we can sell them to get more funds so that we can buy more English players. But before we start selling players, guys, Ronnie Sanford came up to me with a quite unique situation because he's had a gaming laptop since 2020 that's just packed in. And he was asking me if I had any recommendations on what gaming laptop he should go for next, and luckily for him, I feel like I've got just the laptop for him. Because today's video is brought to you by Acer and AMD, and I want to talk to you guys about the Nitro 16 gaming laptop. And let me tell you, this laptop is the real deal as it's ready for all your favourite games thanks to an AMD Ryzen 5 7535HS processor and an insane NVIDIA RTX 4050 graphics card. And having a faster processor allows for a much better performance when you're gaming, when you're video editing, or when you're watching Arsenal bottle their second league title in a row. Not only that, the newly refined chassis comes with dual fan cooling, dual intakes, quad exhaust, and the chilling effects of liquid metal thermal grease on the CPU. Not to mention it has a 16-inch HD screen and 165Hz refresh rate, which is ready to give you an incredible gaming experience. The Nitro 16 is absolutely amazing, guys, and I legit cannot recommend it to you guys enough. And it's available as we speak, so head on over to Acer to get yours today. I'd also like to take this time to thank Acer and AMD for sponsoring today's video. And speaking of the video, without further ado, let's get back to it. Now guys, whilst I was telling you a lot about the Nitro 16 gaming laptop, I managed to sell a lot of players on that transfer list, which now gives us $6 million our budget. But I wasn't allowed to sell every single player on that transfer list purely because our squad depth is bare minimum now that we've only got 18 players in the team. But we've still got a lot of money to spend, $6 million in total as I've just said, but before we spend any of this, it's time to sort our tactics out. And after going through the team, I think a modified 4-3-3 defensive variation is absolutely spot on for MK Dons. And we've got quite a young squad in our hands, so I'm going to use the gegenpressing tactics for Season 1 at least. And after meddling around with the team, this is by a mile our strongest and most potential starting 11, and honestly, we've got a couple of balls in this team. Especially these pair, Grant and Burns, 21 and 20 years old respectively. I've got high hopes for both of these pair, man. I reckon they can become absolutely world class. But that does beg the question, what are we going to do with all this money? Well, we desperately needed a goalkeeper for starters, so I spent $1.25 million on Sam Tickle from Wigan Athletic. He's only 21, 65 rated, probably one of the strongest keepers in League 2, and now he plays for us. And honestly guys, already I feel way more confident going into Season 1 with Tickle in goal, but I really want to improve our midfield now. I feel like Robson's going to let us down if we keep him in that starting 11. And my search for an English centre midfielder took me to America of all places, as I found Noel Buck, 18, a very good player and showing great potential playing for New England. The only problem is we'll have to spend $3.2 million on him if we are to sign him because they won't directly negotiate a transfer sum. But we've got $5 million left, guys, and to be honest, I really like the looks of him, so I'm going to bite the bullet and just do it. And there we go for $3.2 million on the dot. Noel Buck now plays for MK Dons. Now this leaves us with $1 million to spend, but I think I'm going to put this into renewing people's contracts and also improving the coaching system. Because in my opinion, we've had a fantastic transfer window, signing Sam Tickle Tickle and Noel Buck is absolutely phenomenal business. But I'm going to have to rethink that tactic because I've just looked at the squad up and we've only got one centre-back in Jack Tucker. And that's because our other centre-back, Warren O'Hora, has been sold for 680,000. Now, I'm not sure if he had a release clause or whether it was me who actually accepted this transfer offer and completely forgot about it. One way or another, we need to sort this out. And that is exactly what I did after spending 1.2 million on Blackpool centre-back Ollie Casey. He's in his early 20s, he's a very good centre-back, and honestly, I reckon he's going to kill it for us. And with the transfer window officially done and dusted now, this is the starting 11 going into season 1, and honestly, I reckon MK Dons this season are going to have a very good year. I mean, for starters, look at the ages of our highest rated players. Not a single player is above 28 years old. Not to mention, we've signed Sam Tickle, Noel Buck, and Ollie Casey, who all have pretty decent potential. I know that in real life, MK Dons made the playoffs anyway, but it really would not surprise me if we replicated what they did this season. And guys, not only did we replicate it, we surpassed what they did in real life. We are champions of League 2 and we are officially promoted. And do you know what's crazy about this season? Look who's second place, Forest Green Rovers, who, if I'm not mistaken, have finished rock bottom of League 2 in real life. As for the FA Cup, we actually did pretty well, making it to round 3 before Arsenal battered us. But we got knocked out in round 1 of the Carabao Cup by Crew Alexander. And we made it to round 2 of the BSM Trophy, only to get knocked out by Crawley on pens. As for the players' improvement, it is looking pretty damn decent. Noel Buck especially, 6 overall improvement this year. What a goddamn signing. And he's already worth 3.8 million, so the money we spent on him is already paid back and then some. As for the stats, Darragh Burns is indeed our top goal scorer with 20 goals and 5 assists in 47 games. But hang on a minute, I've just messed up. Darragh Burns is from Ireland. How the hell didn't I clock that? Conor Grant from Ireland too as well. Oh my god, I'm an absolute moron. We've got to replace both of these in season 2. And not only that, MJ Williams, our defensive midfielders from Wales. Oh my god, what am I playing at? I thought for sure I got everybody, but apparently not. But you know what, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter because all we need to care about is the fact that this starting 11 got us promotion to League 1 very convincingly. And hopefully with the additional budget we'll get from getting promoted to League 1 will help us replace all the positions we need to and then some in Season 2. But before we get to Season 2, I need your help. Right now, I'm in a race with this geezer right here, Raman, to 100,000 subscribers, and right now, I am currently in the lead. But this is where you come in, because if I am to win this race, I'm going to need you to leave a like on this video and smash that subscribe button if you're new around here. It's absolutely free to do, and it would mean the world to me if you did it. Help me beat Raman to 100k. Well, guys, here we are in Season 2, and we are officially a League 1 team with MK Dons. And what did I tell you lot? With promotion comes that bit of extra money, 8 million to be exact, and we can work wonders with that kind of money. And we do kind of need to work wonders with that money anyway, because we need to sell Grant, we need to sell Burns, and also Williams, because they are both Irish and Welsh. But out of the three, I'm going to replace MJ Williams first, because quite frankly, he's the worst of the bunch, and I've got the perfect replacement in mind. You probably guessed it, I am bringing Dele Alli back to MK Dons. He's 28 now, he's 74 overall, he's going to absolutely kill it in League 1 as well. And there he is in the MK Dons shirt. He's wearing his number 14 shirt, the last number he actually wore for MK Dons before he left. And we've still got 7 mil to spend. Honestly, for a League 1 side, we've got so much money. Now, obviously, we will be sorting our left winger and right winger positions out, but there is one other position I do want to focus this money on too. And that's our right back position where Norman plays, because as you can see, he's 28. He is growing, but it'll take him 34 weeks to become a better player. So honestly, I think his potential's been reached. So with that in mind, I spent 3 million on Watford fullback Ryan Andrews. He is legitimately 9 years younger, a much better fullback, and he's showing great potential. Is this a no-brainer? I think it is. And now that we've got a centre mid and a right back, it's now finally time to sort our right winger and left winger position out, because we do still have a little bit of money left over. And I'd like to spend some of it on Amario Kozia Dubry, only 19. He's a very solid left winger, not as good as our current one, but we are going to be selling him anyway, so fighting for that starting 11 position won't be an issue. We will have to pay his release clause of 1.4 million because they aren't willing to negotiate a term directly, but you know what, I reckon he'll be worth it. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we've got our left winger. And now that we've made 3 signings in this window, we've now got enough depth to sell our right winger, our left winger, and CDM. And just like that, there goes Connor Grant for 750,000. Dara Burns is also left to join Cardiff for 1.85 mil. And finally, MJ Williams is out the door for 360k, which leaves us 4 mil to bring in a brand new right winger. And as soon as we've done that, that's our transfer window done. And you know what? I really like the looks of this guy, Xavier Amechi, 23, 68 overall, got decent pace. I reckon we give him a go in League One. And just like that, for 1.8 million, we signed him on a 5-year deal, concluding our business for season 2. And now the starting 11 looks like this. We've changed the formation to the 4-3-3 attacking just to suit Dele Alli and Buck in the squad. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I've been through League One and I don't really see many teams that are going to be better than us. I genuinely feel like we're going to tear it up this season again, especially with the business that we've conducted this year. I mean, signing Dele Alli alone is a massive W and should get us promotion. Now, he hasn't got us promotion just yet, but we do have a second chance. We're in the playoffs alongside Blackpool, Charlton and Northampton. And it is looking amazing as we have absolutely destroyed Charlton 5-2 in the semis. We're playing Blackpool in the final. I mean, I know full well just how good that team actually is, but is it better than ours? I guess we're about to find out. Can we get back-to-back promotions? Yes, we can. Dele Alli with the win. Oh, that is goddamn poetic, man. That is so beautiful. It's unreal. On his return to MK Dons, he scores the winning goal in the playoff final to get them promotion at Wembley. That is just a beautiful story, innit it? But I can't lie, a part of me does feel bad because both Charlton and Blackpool, the teams we beat to get promotion in the playoffs, actually finished above us, but that's just the way football works. As for the FA Cup, we once again made it to round 3 before getting knocked out by another Premier League side. We also once again only made it to round 1 of the Carabao Cup. And in our last attempt to win the BSM trophy, we once again finish in round 2. But guys, I'm looking at our highest rated players and the improvement is beyond crazy, man. Look at the state of some of these players. Especially a Mario Kosciuszko, 7 ratings improvement. What a goddamn signing. And look at the stats as well. Max Dean, 23-3, 18-8 for Dele Alli, 13-3 for Kosciuszko, and 12-5 for Dan Kemp. I'm telling you now, guys, I do it every single time and it works. If you stay on top of this coaching system, you will see insane amounts of improvement. And the proof's in the pudding, guys. We spent 2 years in charge of MK Dons, and not only have we got back-to-back promotions, but this team is absolutely phenomenal already. But the question is, guys, with us getting back-to-back promotions, can we get our 3rd promotion in a row next year and get straight up to the Prem? I guess there's only one way to find out as we arrive in Season 3 in our first year as a Championship side. And with that promotion comes a little bit extra money, 12 mil to be exact, 4 million more than we had last year. And if I'm being honest, guys, I don't really want to mess with the starting 11 all that much. Maybe we could do with a better centre-back than Tucker, but apart from that, that's basically it. But that's not saying I'm not making any other signings because we desperately need more depth, man. We've literally only got substitutes. We've got no reserves in the slightest. Well, we would have, but I sent Cameron Norman out on loan last year just to make sure that Ryan Andrews got game time, and we can all see that kind of worked out quite well. But with us now being in the Championship, playing against teams like Burnley, Ipswich Town and Leeds United, we are definitely going to need more depth. But first and foremost, I did say I wanted a new centre-back in place of Tucker, so I spent 3.3 million on Lewis Binks from Bologna. He's only in his mid-20s, a far superior centre-back to Tucker. Honestly, I feel like we got a massive bargain with Binks. And not only does that give us a much better centre-back in the starting 11, it actually improves our depth without even trying. But I want more depth in our team, which is why I'm signing Oliver Arblaster from Standard Liège, only 21 himself, a very decent player to be honest to have on the bench to replace the quality in our team. I'm also going for Ben Parkinson, a 20-year-old right winger who's 65 overall and honestly could be a very good backup for both our wingers in the team. And for the total sum amount of 6.6 mil, we signed both of these players on 5-year deals, which brings an end to our 3rd transfer window. And I for one think it's been a great transfer window. Lewis Binks is a fantastic addition to the starting team. Ben Parkinson and Oliver Arblaster are great additions for depth too. But I guess only time will tell if this team right here is good enough to get 3 promotions in a row. But unfortunately, we just weren't good enough. We finished just outside the playoffs. Well, I say just outside, 7 points to be exact. But to be honest, guys, that is a damn good effort for a newly promoted championship team. We've also had a great FA Cup run, making it to round 4 this time before once again getting knocked out by a Premier League side. And we finally made it out of round 1 of the Carabao Cup, only to get knocked out in round 2 by bloody Cambridge. But to be honest, our stats aren't that impressive. Max Dean only got 15-1, 11-1 for Kozia Dewberry, 9 goals for Ben Parkinson from the bench too. But we can't forget about Dele Alli getting 10 goal contributions in 33 games, and to be fair, our blaster from the bench did well too. And there is more good news, guys, because looking at this team, I honestly don't feel like we're far away from being in a place where we can say we're getting promotion this year in the championship. There's just a couple of areas we need to strengthen. And one of those areas in particular is our attacking midfielder position where Dan Kemp plays. Luckily, I do have a solution to this which won't cost a penny, because I have trained Dele Alli to become an attacking midfielder. It only took 2 weeks. Let's see what happens to his overall. He goes up by 1. Absolutely phenomenal. And now the team has a much better attacking midfielder in Dele Alli. Buck and Arblaster are the midfield duo, and honestly, after the season Arblaster had last year, he definitely deserves this chance in the starting 11. But whilst we sorted that position out without spending a penny, we do have 15 million to spend this season to sort all the other areas out that we do need to bolster. And it's just 2 positions, our left back Tomlinson and our centre back Casey. Both of their development plans have stunted. They've reached their potential, and right now, guys, if we are to take MK Dons to that next level, we need somebody better in their positions. Which is why I'm going for Sassuolo fullback Harrison Burrows, still in his mid-20s, 74 overall, 4 ratings higher than our current left back. Honestly, I reckon this is just common sense. As for the centre-back, James Hill looks like a very good option. 24 years old himself, 74 rated himself, and he's got very good stats already. Honestly, I reckon he can tear it up in the championship. And just like that, for the combined total of 10.1 million, both of these players now play for MK Dons. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this team is far stronger now that we've actually got a much better defensive lineup. And in case you're wondering why Sam Tickle got left alone, well, that's simple. He's growing still quite quickly, so there's literally no reason for me to replace him yet. But with us not only sorting our defence out, but sorting out our midfield, making it probably the strongest in the championship, I definitely feel like this is the year we take MK Dons to the top flight of English football. And I was absolutely bang on. We are second in the championship, automatically promoted. But Tottenham Hotspur, the Bottle Jobs, won the FA Cup. My mood has gone from here all the way down to here, just like that. And we've also made it to round 2 of the Carabao Cup again, this time getting knocked out by Luton. But this season, the boys defo knew how to score goals. 20-5 for Max Dean, 20-13 for Amario Kozia Dewberry, 15-2 for Dele Alli, and 11-4 for Xavier Mechi. And on top of that, look at the development and improvements in all these players, man. They're just going from strength to strength. Don't get me wrong, I know that next year we'll have a difficult time in the Premier League. I mean, Luton Town finished 15th in the Prem and knocked us out of the Carabao Cup. But I'm telling you now, do not write these boys off. They've got 3 promotions in 4 years. Imagine what they can do in the next 4 years. I guess we're about to find out as our first year in the Premier League is about to begin. And we have got big money to spend now, 83 million in total. And honestly, I reckon if we spend this right, we could legitimately get a top 10 finish. But to be honest, guys, if that is actually our objective and we're serious about that, we are going to have to be incredibly ruthless on where we put that money. For example, I think replacing Sam Tickle might be the right move, man. He's been with us since season 1. He's been phenomenal, but now it might be time for him to step aside for somebody else. There's also right winger Xavier Mechi. I mean, he's not really lit the team on fire. If we replace him, he's not going to really be missed, but we do need somebody better. And truth be told, Harrison Burrows hasn't really done much for us either. I do feel like he didn't get the game time over Tomlinson last season, but regardless, a 74 rated left back in the Prem isn't going to do well, is he? But if we are able to sort all these 3 positions out with better replacements, I mean, the team around it is actually pretty stellar anyway. A top 10 finish might be unrealistic, but that's definitely what we should be going for. And I think spending 17 million on James Beadle to replace Tickle in goal is definitely the right move. I mean, he's 2 years younger and 3 ratings better, and honestly, he's not that expensive for how good he is. I've also just spent 24 million on left back Lewis Hall. I mean, he's only 22, he's by a mile the best left back we've got, and honestly guys, I feel like he's going to turn into a monster. And this leaves us 38 million to find a better right winger, and honestly, I think I've found just the player. I am of course talking about Marcus Edwards from West Ham United, who I spent 28 million on to sign. And this is legitimately a no-brainer. 28 years old, 83 overall, he brings technical ability, skill and experience all in one. And in only one transfer window, look at how much we've done to improve this team, man. I honestly feel like we're going to massively overachieve. Especially now that we signed a proper good goalie in James Beadle, a very good left back in Lewis Hall, and let's be honest, an absolutely phenomenal right winger. Honestly, I reckon a top 10 finishes on the cards. What did I tell you guys? I was bang on the money. We are 9th in the Premier League as a newly promoted side, man. What an achievement that is. We are still quite far away from European football, however, a top 10 finish in our first season is a massive step in the right direction. As for the FA Cup, we do make it to round 4 before we get knocked out by the bottle jobs. Oh, come on, man. Really? Anybody but them. We've also made it to round 3 of the Carabao Cup this time before West Bromwich Albion knocked us out. And you know what? These stats aren't half bad. 18 goals for Max Dean, 11 and 8 for Marcus Edwards, and 10 and 8 for Mario Dubry. And guys, I'm looking at this team. All I think we need is a couple of better centre-backs, maybe a better centre midfielder and striker, and we're literally knocking on European football's door. And the thing is, because we finished inside the top 10 this season, we might actually have a decent budget to work with again in season 6. And once again, I was bang on the money. 76 mil to be exact is what we've got to work with. However, I've been through the squad up, and this may cause more problems than it actually solves, believe it or not. Because last year I said I wanted to bring in a couple of better centre-backs, a centre-mid and a striker. But out of all their development plans, it's only Lewis Binks who's actually stopped growing in overall. So honestly, I reckon we put all of our money into one proper good centre-back. I mean, to me, it doesn't make too much sense replacing players that are growing in overall, man. You may as well just let them grow and then take it from there. But this now means we've got 76 mil to spend on a proper good English centre-back. And I couldn't think of anybody better than Jared Branthwaite, now playing for Leipzig in his mid-20s. He's 6'5", an absolute brick wall. Yeah, you better believe he's joining us. And for 60 million on the dot, ladies and gents, he is now an MK Dons player. But as I've said, that's all the business I'm doing, which means this team is going into season 6 in its second year in the Premier League. The question is though, was I right in signing Jared Branthwaite, or should I have spread that money a little bit more evenly across the side and actually improve more positions than just this one? I was right. I was absolutely spot on, because we are top 4 in the Premier League, and not only that, we've got Champions League football for season 7. And honestly, we weren't far off winning the title, 9 points behind Arsenal. If we keep on improving like this, we'll easily become the best team in England. On top of that, we've had our best FA Cup run yet, making it to round 5. And we actually made the semis of the Carabao Cup, just losing out to Arsenal on pen. Spurs are in the final. Oh, Arsenal, please, for God's sake, don't let me down here. They let me down. The bottle jobs won the Carabao Cup. Bloody brilliant. But on a brighter note, our team performed. 34 goals for Max Dean, 15 and 11 for Marcus Edwards, and 14 and 11 for Dubry. The team is looking absolutely phenomenal at this point, but there is a little bit of bad news. Our captain, Dele Alli, is starting to go down in overall. He is 33 years old now. He has taken us to the Champions League, but I think now it's about time he steps aside and he lets somebody else take it from here. Believe me, I do not want to do it, but if we are serious about making MK Dons not only the best team in England, but the world, this is something we're going to have to do. Especially with the amount of money we've been given, 164 million. I'm not being funny, guys, but if we put that money into this team correctly, we could legitimately win the Champions League in our first attempt. Now, obviously, the first thing that we're going to do is replace Dele Alli. It absolutely sucks, but it's just what we've got to do at the end of the day. It's also about time we replace James Hill with a far stronger and better centre-back. And then we can look towards putting the rest of that money into our bench, because quite frankly, we're lacking quality there. Now at this point, you're probably asking, what am I going to do with Max Dean because he's only 81 overall and one of the weakest links in the team? Well, in actual fact, guys, you'd be wrong because he's growing still at quite a good rate. And on top of that, he bagged 34 goals last season. He is not going anywhere yet. But we defo will be bringing in a second choice striker for him because Dennis just isn't good enough. But guys, we've got a lot of money to work with and a lot of work to do with that money. But the first thing, as you know, we've got to replace Dali Ali. And you won't believe this, but Alfie Divine is actually a free agent, only 24 years old, 83 overall. I mean, for absolutely nothing. I couldn't think of a better player to sign. And there he is in the starting 11, ladies and gents. Now we just have to bring in a better centre-back for Hill, and I might call it today with the starting 11. So I went ahead and spent £40 million on English centre-back Mark Gee, or however you pronounce the guy's name. Either way, he's 28, 84 overall. I mean, this guy is absolutely fantastic, and he's having a really good Euro so far at the time of recording this video anyway. But that brings me to another position in the starting 11. Our Blaster's development plan, as you can see, has really slowed down. 50 weeks to become better. Now, if he was as good as Buck, I wouldn't mind this all that much, but because he's 83 overall in the Champions League when it counts, I feel like he'll be the one to let us down in the midfield. So I went ahead and signed one of the best prospects in English football, Kobbie Mainoo, for 65 million. He's only 24, 84 overall, but we all know how good this guy is. He is going to take MK Dons to that next level. And now, really, all we need to do is bring in a stronger second choice striker for Dennis, and we are absolutely golden for Season 7. So I'm going to sign Sheffield United striker Hackford. He's 25, 75 rated, but in all honesty, guys, he wouldn't be my first choice for this, but right now, there's not many good English strikers left. But for the grand total of 7 mil on the dot, not only does he now play for us, but that's our transfer window done. But our biggest season yet is just about to begin as we are in the UCL for the very first time in Group D alongside Leipzig, Benfica and Young Boys, and honestly, for our first time, that's a nice group to be put in. But it's been a very slow start so far in the Premier League. 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss from our first 3 games. But I'm honestly not too worried because this starting 11 in its new 4-2-3-1 formation is the strongest it has ever looked. And with the amount of quality we brought into the team this year, do not be surprised if we lift a couple of trophies at the end of Season 7. And one of those trophies was very nearly the Premier League, 5 points off being the champions, man. I'm telling you now, within the next season or the season after, we're going to become the best team in England. But we don't have to wait any longer to lift a trophy as we've won the FA Cup at long bloody last. But somehow Millwall knocked us out in round 3 of the Carabao Cup. How that works, I will never know, but it is what it is. As for the Champions League, we are joint top alongside RB Leipzig, cruising to the round of 16. And that's where we quite frankly obliterate Real Betis 6-1 on aggregate. And we've just about made it past Milan. In the quarters, we could be playing Atletico, Arsenal or Chelsea. Honestly, none of those teams seem appealing to me. But we got through against Arsenal and we beat them 2-1 in the semis. We're playing Chelsea in the final. Oh my god, I'm so conflicted. I want to win the Champions League with MK Dons, but I don't want to beat Chelsea to do it. Oh my god, what are you doing to me, FC24? Now, looking at that team, I will be real with you. We should destroy that starting 11. I mean, their goalkeeper, I don't even think he goes above 80 overall. And on top of that, our boys have performed and then some. And Mario Kozudublu with 28 and 8. Max Dean with 20 goals on the dot. 12 and 14 for Marcus Edwards as well. And look at Kobbie Mainoo, not only improving to 87 overall, but getting 7 goals and 15 assists from that CDM role. That's pretty damn impressive. And that brings us to the starting 11, which is heading into the Champions League final against, in my opinion, a very weak Chelsea side. Believe me, I want to put Dele Alli in this team, but I just don't want to take any chances, despite how, in my opinion, poor Chelsea are right now. But 7 years ago, ladies and gents, we took over a League 2 MK Dons side, and 7 years later, only signing English players, we've got them to the Champions League final with a chance to make them the world's best club. The question is, can they become it? Yes, they have 4-2 on the night. I told you guys Chelsea were rubbish. Look at that scoreline. Dean with a brace, Edwards and Butt with the goals. We have made MK Dons with English signings only the best team in the world. And honestly, what a goddamn journey. I should have put Dele Alli in the starting 11, man. Now that I've seen that scoreline, I really regret not doing it. But that is our mission complete with MK Dons. If you have enjoyed this video, be sure to leave it a like, smash that subscribe button if you are new around here. Help me beat Raman to 100,000 subscribers. And if you are still here right now, what an absolute legend you are. But you should also consider clicking this right here, because this video is a banger as well.